start with our wake up routine. We've done this every practice in our energy flow, and just as a reminder, the purpose of this first component, the wake up routine, is to get your energy moving forward and crossing over, sort of organizing and coordinating the body's energy before we get into the rest of our practice, so that we make sure that we're already moving in that right direction, and we can make sure that the body and the energy, everything's starting to work together from the beginning. So let's just find our Tadasana first, and taking any micro movements to help you arrive here, maybe going heels to toes or spreading out the feet. Then finding the sturdiness of the legs and beginning to connect to that energetic breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your heels ground. Allow that inhale to lift from the lower body up into the heart and all the way up through the crown. And exhaling to ground you back into the heels. Let's take a little space through the arms, so opening up through the hands, stretching between each of the fingers. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath right here in Tadasana. Inhale. And exhale out the mouth. Find your collarbones and drop right below that start of the collarbones into the little hollows for K27, the end of the kidney meridian, and just start to massage in here a bit. Find those hollows and start to connect with the physical body. Keep that energetic breath flowing as we move through these next 4 exercises to help cleanse the breath, help cleanse the body, and also to start connecting the core energy of the body, which is at the back of the throat. Begin to tap here now if you'd like, if you feel like you could go a little stronger with this sensation. This point is the intersection of the body's meridians, those lines of energy. And so it's a really good way to start to wake them all up from the beginning. Cleansing breath. And you can really make that breath your own. Maybe it's like blowing out a candle, maybe it's just dropping the jaw and letting that breath fall out, whatever feels best. Move to the center of the sternum with one or both hands for the thymus thumb. Getting our immunity working with us this morning. One more breath here. And let the body relax as you tap, feeling that vibration make its way through deep into the body. And then move to the side seam, about a hand's width down from the armpit, in between the ribs for the end of the spleen meridian. And then tap a little bit into the front of the ribs. You're in the same line as you were on the side body for the spleen neurovasculars. And then back to the side body. And shake out the arms, shake out the hands. Take a breath here. Inhale. Let it go. Begin to tap right below the eyes. A little lighter tap here for the stomach points. And allowing this to help ground the body, running all the way down into the feet. And that's what this line of energy does. It runs from the head, where we're tapping up here on the cheekbones, all the way down off the toes. So just even visualizing that line of energy running from head to toe can help start to move it more freely in that direction, help clear any obstacles or blocks that might be restricting that flow. Continue tapping all the way around the outsides of the eyes, over the eyebrows, and just notice if you find any tender points around the eyes. Tapping into some gallbladder points here. And then shake off the hands and let them rest on the thighs. You can bring all the fingers together in a grounding position. And turn your attention inwards for a few quiet breaths, just noticing the effect as you start to communicate with your energies. Listen to that subtle sound of your breath. And then deepen the breath again, in through the nose, out through the mouth as you begin to march in place. Tapping same hand to thigh for just one more breath. Try to imagine or feel that the energies are following your movement. Then shake it off and let your energies continue to follow you now as you cross it over, opposite hand to thigh. And you can start with this motion a little bit smaller. It's pretty early, let's see how we feel. But then I invite you to start taking up your space. See if you can make this movement a little more expansive. And visualize or feel, imagine the energy following how the body's moving, right? So becoming more expansive. Remember that cleansing breath, letting go of any stale air in the body to take in this fresh energy of the morning. Let those shoulders really move. You might even start to feel a little work in the legs, right, as we march and get the blood moving. We'll do one more breath here. You can start to reel it back in. And then coming to stand, hands in front of the pubic bone, one on top of the other, either on the body or in your space. Connect to your breath. You can close the eyes if you'd like, and take this moment to set an intention. Letting a word come to you that will describe how you'd like to move through your practice today, just through your practice. Or what is it that you hope to get from this practice or that you need? Then holding that word in your mind, inhale, zip the hands straight up the body. Flip the palms, exhale, and spread that intention out into your space, all over your yoga mat. On this next one, think about how you would like to feel through the day. You're thinking of your day as this whole expansive experience and the energy you want to carry into your Thursday. And then holding that word or that adjective, inhale, zip it up the front of the body, tracing the central line. Exhale, spread it out far beyond your yoga mat. Then one more time, let's just seal this in. Inhale, zip it up. And exhale, spread it out. Bring your middle finger to the belly button and to the third eye. Press in and draw up. Inhale. And blow it out. Exhale. Inhale, the hook up. Exhale, blow it out. One more breath. Let the hands rest in that grounding position on the thighs. Quieting your breath. Notice how you feel. Now slide both hands up to your heart. Connecting to your center, to this magnificent energy center of the heart. Eyes could be open or closed, and take a moment to call in all the pieces of yourself, to call in any scattered pieces or frayed edges. And allow all of your attention to be drawing in right here to the center of your chest. And beyond the physical, moving into the well within. Get quiet enough, still enough to sense your heart beating and connecting to that experience of energy. The heart has a very expansive magnetic field, which we know it can be measured, right? We know that it extends at least as far out as our fingertips, about 3 feet in front of us and sides all around us. And it allows you to not only connect with yourself, but then also to connect with your environment and everybody that you come in contact with today, giving you a sense before you even really speak to the person, right? This is that intuitive feeling when you walk into a room or when you pass somebody on the street. It's also that intuitive feeling that you might get if something's not working right for you, right? Something that's more interrelated. So let this help you connect to your intuition and to your feeling ability. And then we'll split the hand, so dragging one hand down towards the belly and go right below the belly button over the adrenal points. And then lift the other hand over the forehead. You could either have the fingers pointing up if that's more comfortable, or just across the forehead. And we'll continue to tune in here to the subtle energy, connecting the lower part of the body with the upper part of the body. Like your hands are jumper cables and connecting below and above. Notice the effect when less is more. When slowing down might actually help you recognize all the activity that's here. It seems so counterintuitive, or it seems a little odd to think there's activity in the inactivity, or there's movement in the stillness. But see if you can sense that. The dynamic play that's happening within and around the body, even whenever your physical self here is pretty still. Now bring your left hand back down to the heart, let it rest, and bring your right hand out in front of you, extending through the palm. And feel that you're reaching towards the edge of your aura, the edge of your space and your boundaries. And begin to just feel the edge of this space. If you have strong visualization, you might imagine sort of running your hand over this outer membrane, this outer layer. Maybe you can have a sort of physical sensation in the palm as you extend it out. The eyes can be open or closed. I kind of like to watch the hand move around and visualize this outer layer, this protective shell. This outer shell is really important, this membrane. It can be penetrated, right? You can allow things to come into this space, but you can also let this membrane, this shell, keep things out. Just run your hands along this membrane to strengthen this ability to let in what you would like and to help shield yourself from what doesn't need to come into your space today. And then bring that right hand back to the heart. Let's plug back into center. Let your breath flow freely and effortlessly. This is what our yoga practice teaches us. That we don't need to force the breath. Sometimes when we come to our practice, this might be the only time we're conscious of our breath. But as we practice and let this become our new pattern, it becomes this sort of effortless thing that can carry with you throughout the rest of your day. And we have one more technique here before we start to move the physical body a little more. I want you to imagine you're holding a ball of energy right at the level of the heart. So one hand is above, one hand is below, palms facing towards one another. And turn your attention to this space between the hands. Allow yourself to steady, to feel anchored and grounded. And this again is calling that energy from below and above to center right here at the heart. Every once in a while, maybe taking that audible breath, releasing any stagnant air, or just making sure there's a healthy flow of prana, of chi with the breath. Then flip your palms, so one faces up, one faces down, switching that polarity, and notice how that feels. Maybe it's a little jarring or uncomfortable to flip the palms this way. You can imagine your hands are like magnets, and so when you place the same edge of the magnet towards one another, it's like they kind of want to repel. And then flip it back, bring it back to center and hold right here. Take 2-3 more full breaths. Patience. And release the hands by the side, Tadasana. We can be reminded that Tadasana is actually a power pose, and in Qigong, we hold this standing pose for quite a long time. So notice how you feel here. If you need to unstick the feet a little bit, you can shake them out if they're feeling a little tingly or anything going on there. And we'll begin to move a little more here. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead for a Celtic weave, crisscrossing elbows and wrists down towards the waist. Inhale, scoop it up and twist to the left, Celtic weave. Yogic breathing in and out through the nose. Inhale, sweep up and twist to the other side, weaving that outer layer of your Oregon, threading that together. Inhale, scoop the arms up, come through center for one more Celtic weave all the way down. Thread it all the way to the feet, letting the head go. Bend the knees and let yourself breathe in this deep fold. You can let yourself sway a little side to side, maybe let the neck release. You can hold on to opposite elbows. Lots of freedom. That's a good reminder to always know you have that freedom to do what you need to, right? Sometimes I think we forget that we don't have to follow all the shoulds and should nots, that we really have the freedom to do what we need. And it's really powerful to exercise that freedom. Connect to your breath, lower the hips down, bend the knees, and roll all the way to your backside. You can use your hands to help get you there, or begin to trust the body, coming all the way down, and hug your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side, or any other organic movement through the hips here. You could circle the knees, or just hug them in tight. Allow this to give a little massage to the spine. Letting go of what you don't need to carry into this Thursday. And taking a fresh breath of air in. Then hug the knees towards your chest. Forehead comes to the knees. Take a couple full breaths here in this tight little ball, this seed. And let this seed crack open as you lower the head back down and hold on to the backs of the thighs. Lift the legs all the way up. Flex the ankles. Press up through the heels. Point the toes. Stretch the front of the ankles. And then roll the ankles around in one direction and the other direction. Bend the knees. You can either roll over to your side to press yourself up, Or if you'd like to, you could find a rock and roll along the length of the spine. We're going to come into Malasana from here, a yogi squat. So you might even be able to find enough momentum to come right into your squat. And lower your hips down, the toes point out 45 degrees. If the heels don't quite hit the mat, fill that space with a blanket. Elbows come into the knees. Lift your heart. Lift up from the inner arches of the feet. Connect to your breath, feeling and actually tracing that breath into the belly. And then trace it as it moves back up and out. Right, following it with your attention. Place the hands on the mat, lift your hips, and start to massage in between the long bones of the feet, clearing the gates. You can use your index finger and wiggle from ankle bone to the space in between each of the toes and pinching in between each of the toes at that webbing. Deep yogic breath and just finding any tender points and giving them a little extra attention to help clear that stuck energy. And then massaging the toes themselves, pinching at the very tip. We'll do the same thing with the hands while we're here. You can rest your elbows on the thighs and massage in between the long bones of the hands, pinching at the webbing between each finger. And massaging down the fingers themselves, pinching at the very tip. Every once in a while, taking that cleansing breath to let go, especially if you feel that you're clearing something out here, let that release. Ride that wave of the breath. And once you feel complete with that, bring the hands together, heel toe your feet a little closer if they were spread apart still, and sit into a gentle chair pose. Bring your palms together, the thumbs coming to the start of the eyebrows. And then use this grip of the hands or this posture to lift up your head, coming into chair pose, lifting up through the chest. And then lift all the way up, standing. Press into the eyebrows, sliding your thumbs towards the temples. The fingers come to the center of the forehead. Press in and bring space to your third eye. Pull apart all the way to the temples again. Shake out the hands and then land your hands back at the center of the heart. Take a cleansing breath here. Palms come to prayer, Anjali Mudra. Step your feet a little wider apart again, connecting heaven and earth. Inhale, lift your sternum to the thumbs. Exhale, squat. Inhale, left arm up, right arm down, pressing out through the heels of the hands. And exhale, back to center, squat. Inhale, opposite way, gaze is either up or down. See what feels best, maybe do a little of both. And continue to flow with your breath. Inhaling to take that big stretch. You can even space out between the fingers. To me, this is like the best morning stretch. I just love this pose so much. And again, we're coming back to that idea, that concept, and actually really tangible experience of connecting above and below. Connecting to the earth, connecting to that space above you, and then you're that connector piece right in the middle. If you always are looking in the same direction, maybe try to take your gaze the other way. Even out both sides, take your time to get there. And when you're on the last side, dive that top hand down and come into your forward fold. Let the head go, just allow yourself to breathe and sway a bit here. Open up the back side of the body. The body is being held together by connective tissue that's running from the bottoms of your feet all the way up the back side of the body, over the head and towards the forehead.
So see if you can experience that whole back side of the body, having this release, letting that entire area enjoy this stretch. Place your hands on the mat, step your right foot back, lower the knee into a low lunge. Right hand stays on the mat, inhale, left arm comes up into a twist. Begin to circle your left arm back, down, forward, and overhead, taking a few circles. And the next time the arm is overhead, flick each finger off the thumb, and then all the fingers sparking up and out. Celtic weave, trace that outer layer of your space with your left hand until it comes back down to the mat. Shift your hips back, coming into half splits. The front knee does not need to be perfectly straight. Just go to your extent, the toes pointed up. And take a couple breaths here, lengthening the spine as you inhale. Blocks can be helpful if you have them. And exhaling to fold it down. Feel the neck lengthening. Tune into your own experience of the posture, following the sensation that comes to you. And try not to shy away. If you notice something, see if you tend to shy away from it. Let's face it head on today with some courage and with the intention to clear out any obstacles or blocks that might be in our way today. And it does take courage to do that. Even if we don't always recognize it, it takes courage to step into all that you can be, right? Or all that you are. I'm not going to be able to remember the exact quote, but something to the effect that it's that what we fear is really our greatest selves. We fear that we're capable of so much, and that really is what is scaring us. We're afraid of what that might mean. All right, come back into your low lunge, ground into that left foot, tuck your right toe and lift the knee. Step back into a plank pose and get nice and strong here, lengthening from heels to head. We'll just take one full breath in. Exhale, lower the knees to the mat, tabletop. Inhale, lower the belly, cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time with your breath. Neutral tabletop, spread the knees wide, sit back to child's pose. Extend your arms forward and take a couple breaths into the back body. Remember to follow your own sensation. We all might experience it a little differently, so seeing where the breath wants to go for you. And we'll transition between child's pose and tabletop. On your next inhale, come forward into table. You might shift even past the wrists. And then exhale, sit back to child's pose. Flow with your breath. Inhale. Maybe there's a little ripple through the spine. Let it be your own expression here. Exhale, sitting back to child's pose. One more time. Inhale, roll it forward. Exhale, roll it back. Inhale, forward to tabletop. Tuck the toes and lift your hips, downward dog. Take a moment to pedal through the feet. Bend your left knee, reach through your right heel. Breathe. Switch, bend your right knee, lengthen through that left heel. Breathe. And then take a few pedals back and forth. Letting the jaw and all the muscles of the face relax. This is nature's facelift. And pause that movement. Inhale, ripple forward into plank pose. Always an option to lower the knees. And then exhale, downward dog. Inhale, plank pose. Feel the body stretching out, getting nice and strong. Exhale, lift from your center, heels back and down. One more time, inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, and we'll lower down to the mat. So you can do this by lowering the knees or taking a chaturanga. Baby cobra, lengthen your legs back, anchor into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the chest, elbows hug in, shoulder blades down the back, and find 3 breaths here. Remember that the neck is an extension of the spine, so no kinking or just making sure that you have that smooth arc. And then lower all the way down, placing the hands underneath the forehead for crocodile pose. You can rock the hips side to side if that feels good, releasing any tension in the low back. And then steadying the body and let yourself rest fully on the belly. Notice where you can soften here. Becomes more obvious whenever we pause and find stillness. Pay attention and observe. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Press up through your tabletop, tuck the toes. Find your way into downward dog. Step your right foot through between the hands and lower the left knee. We'll go through that same lunge series on the other side. So take your time to find your footing. Left hand plants onto a block or onto the mat. Inhale, right arm peels open into a twist. You're going to begin to circle that right hand back, down, forward, and overhead. Mostly in and out through the nose, occasionally that big breath out. And then lifting up the right hand, flick each finger off the thumb, shoot little sparks, and then shoot all the fingers off the thumb, threading through your aura Celtic weave as you bring that right hand back down to frame the foot. Shift your hips straight back, keeping them square as you come into a half splits. Move with your breath, lengthening through the spine. And taking a fold. Letting go and drawing in a fresh breath of air. Letting that fresh energy ride the wave of the breath in. Any stagnant, old energy, anything that needs to be transformed or shifted, letting that ride the wave of the breath. Shift it forward, coming onto that right foot. Tuck your back toe, lift the knee, step back into plank pose. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head, press into the hands. Exhale, lower the knees, tabletop. Inhale, lower belly, cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, cow. Anchoring into the hands. Exhale, cat. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Come into a neutral tabletop. This time we'll take a C curve as well. Bump your hips to the right, look to the right, breathe in. Breathe out. Come through center, other way. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come through center, child's pose. You can keep the legs close together this time, a little variation on your pose. And we'll start to move between child's pose and tabletop. Inhale forward. It maybe even becomes like a modified plank. And exhale, shift it back, hips to heels. 2 more times. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale, roll through the spine. Exhale, roll it back. The next time time you come into tabletop, tuck the toes, make your way into downward dog. Heel those hips up, heels down. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, plank. Option to lower the hips and come into up dog now. And then lifting the hips back up, downward dog. So that's just an option. You can continue to do down dog to plank, but if you'd like, you can take that extra breath and find your up dog. Remember, you can always lower the knees. Even with that up dog, you could have those knees lowered. Finding your own flow here. Letting your breath carry you. And then we're going to meet in downward dog. So take your last cycle here and then pause in your down dog. Make sure the head is able to move. Let your heels reach to their lowest point. In your mind's eye, connect from the top of your hips. Right? Bring your attention to the very top of this triangle shape. All the way down to the hands. Anchor. Breathe. Bring your attention back up to the top of the hips and then run it down towards the heels and anchor. Breathe. Sense the fullness of the pose, energy traveling up towards the hips, down towards the hands and the feet. Take a walk to the front of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Begin to roll the hands back towards yourself. You can bend the knees as we come to rise. Continue rolling the hands inwards. Feeding into the chakras as you lift all the way up, and then split the hands at the top and let that energy flood all around you, all through this space like a fountain. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Hold onto the left wrist. Ground into your feet and take a side bend. Breathing in. Breathing out. Only go as far as you can hold the pose and stay anchored in both feet. Inhale, come through center. Switch the hand on the wrist and bend the other way. And do that one more time. Really focus on the feet this time. Go back to the first side, holding onto the left wrist. Option to take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Tailbone gently drawing down. And then lift through center. We'll go the other way. Round into your right foot. Gaze coming up. And come through center. Inhale. Interlace hands behind the head and lift up through the head. Find some space through the chest here, like you're sunbathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Release the hands out and down. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Celtic weave, come into a squat so you can bend your knees as you lower. And we'll move through the 5-element flow. So each part of this practice having a sound associated to help transform and release emotions, help to balance the emotions. We start in the element of water, wrapping one hand around the shin, the other hand on the ground to support you. The sound for this is whoo, W-H-O. Inhale, look down. Exhale, look forward. With that sound, breathe it out. Whoo, like you're blowing out a candle. Do that a couple more times. Working with the emotions of fear and courage. Acknowledging the fear and coming forward with your courage. Place the hands on the mat. Step your right foot back into a lunge pose. You can keep the knee lifted or lowered this time. Moving into the element of wood, which gives us this sturdiness in the legs. In spring, we're coming into this wood element. The sound for this is S-H. Shh. Imagine you're weeding your garden on your yoga mat. It's like you're pruning those seeds that started to Come through the soil, right? Shaping them the way you want this season. And then inhale, grab up all those weeds, reach up overhead. Exhale, throw it down with that SH sound. Inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. Throw it down. Working with the emotions of anger and assertive action. Inhale, lift it up. Releasing anger, throw it down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And we're going to open up into warrior two. So pivot that back heel down, open the hips, and the arms, gaze over front fingers. Moving to the element of fire. Make sure you have the posture here first, so we're sturdy in the body, the tailbone gently drawing down, the hips open, the knee over the ankle. The sound for the fire element is H-A, ha. Inhale, arms come overhead, bring all the finger pads to touch, the thumbs come to the crown as you exhale. Sweep the arms out and around, all the finger pads touch, thumbs to the third eye, exhale. Inhale, sweep the arms around, bringing the thumbs to the chest. One more time, arms come out and around, thumbs come to the belly button. Flatten the hands on the low belly. Take 2 more breaths like this. Extend the arms out, gaze over front fingers, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down, frame the front foot. Take a step forward to the front of your mat, tracing up spleen. Hands come to the big toe. Trace back towards the ankle bone, sliding the hands up the inseam of the legs, flare out at the hips, up to the shoulders, and down to the side body. Give a little buzz here. Breathe in and out. Wrap the hands around the rib cage, moving into the element of earth, and letting yourself rock a little side to side, feeding yourself nourishment, compassion, giving yourself love, and helping to balance the energy we give out to others, that worry we might have for things outside of us, and balancing that with this self-love. The sound for this is your Ujjayi breath. So just tuning into that ocean wave sound in the back of the throat. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Hold the breath in as you draw down 4 times, whatever it is that you need, just for you. Sweep the hands behind the ears as you exhale and extend the arms out. Reach all the way down towards the feet, forward fold, and step onto the hands. Bend the knees as much as you need to bring the toes to the crease of the wrist. Inhale, pull up from the arms. Exhale, fold. Ujjayi breath. Inhale. Exhale. One more time in this gorilla pose, pulling up from the arms. Exhale. Release the hands from under the feet. Tracing up spleen. Slide the hands from the big toe towards the ankle bone, up the inseam of the legs, helping to assimilate everything we've done so far in our practice. Come down to that spleen point on the ribs and give a little massage. Moving into the element of metal, which is our final surrender. We're going to go through this flow again because we'll go on the other side, but we're completing that first cycle of the 5-element flow. So this is where we have the chance to really let go. Inhale, open the arms into a low back bend. Your sound is S. So imagine you're hugging a tree here. The fingers almost touch as you exhale. Lift the arms to the height of the chest, back bend, open through the chest and lungs. Exhale, hugging a big tree. One more time overhead, back bend. Exhale, arms overhead, S sound.
Keep your S sound going as you slide the hands down the arms and land at the upper outer chest. Take one more S breath here, letting go and helping transform grief into new inspiration. Taking from what you've learned in the past forward into your new and next cycle. All right, let's give that a go on the other side. You can let the hands come down to the sides. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Celtic weave as you bend the knees and come to a squat. One hand around the shin, the other hand in front. Element of water. Inhale, look down. Blow it out, look forward. Inhale, look down. Blow it out. Fear balanced by courage. One more time. Hands to the mat. Step your left foot back, coming into your lunge pose. Knee lifted or lowered, your choice. Begin to weed that garden on your yoga mat, transforming anger into action, letting that anger, feeling that, and then letting that move you. So reaching all the way up overhead, pull up those weeds, SH sound as you throw it down. Inhale. Again. Lifting up through the arms, and we'll come into our warrior two. Open the hips. Open the chest. Bend into that front knee. Element of fire, transforming anxiety into joy. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, finger pads touch. Exhale, HA sound as you bring the thumbs down. Inhale, sweep the arms out and around, thumbs come to the third eye. Inhale, sweep the arms, thumbs come to the heart. Really breathe it out, let go of that anxiety. Inhale, thumbs to the belly button. Plant the hands on the low belly, covering the lower chakras. Take a couple more breaths here. Or the other way to talk about this emotion is panic, anxiety or panic. And letting yourself feel a little more comfortable with the unknown. Cooling down that fire. Good. Take the arms out to the side. Find your warrior two. Breathe in. And out. Cartwheel, hands down. Take a step forward to the front of your mat. Come into a forward fold. Rise any way you'd like. So you could roll in towards yourself. You could trace up spleen or reverse swan dive. Whatever you would like to come all the way up. And then exhale to bring the hands around the waist into the element of earth. This is called cradling the baby. So we can understand that it has a really nurturing effect, and here the breath starts to quiet as you really turn your attention inwards and feed yourself that love. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, hold the breath in as you draw down what you need today. Sweep it behind the ears, exhale, all the way into your forward fold. Step on the hands, 3 breaths here. Inhale, pull up and away from the arms. Exhale, let yourself fold, let the head go. Ujjayi breath. One more. Let's trace up spleen, helping all of this sink deeply into the system, helping it be digested. Slide the hands from the big toe up the inseam of the legs. You probably know it by now. Up to the shoulders, down to the side body. Give a little buzz and a deep breath. Hands by your side for the final element of metal to complete this cycle. And we're really always moving through all of these, depending, where we're at in different cycles of our life. We're always moving through them. So you can start to see, where are you at in certain areas of your life? What sort of emotions are you processing now? And use these sounds to help. So the sound here is S. Take a low back bend. Inhale. Give someone a big hug. Fingers almost touch. Your ability to let go. Inhale, open at the height of the heart. Exhale, give someone a hug. Last one, let's bring the arms overhead. Really final surrender now. Exhale, fingers almost touch overhead with your S sounds. Keep it going, slide down the arms, seating the hands on the lungs, which is this outer upper part of the chest, and take a couple more breaths with that S sound. Let this breath draw out whatever you don't need. What are you ready to let go of? Can you let this support you in that letting go process? Let the hands come to the thighs, grounding. You can close the eyes if you'd like, turning inwards, and just notice how you feel. Bring yourself all the way down to the mat. You could do this any way you'd like. You could do a reverse swan dive, sort of a mini sun salute. You could bend the knees or Celtic weave and come all the way down to your seat. Feet on the mat, arms reaching forward. Find your great posture here. Feel your core lighting up and lifting into the heart and into the head. Grounding, staying anchored into the feet. And then slowly, I was going to say sit up, but really a sit down. You're going to roll it down one segment at a time. And when you get to the back, let the arms rest by your side. Walk the feet in for a bridge pose. Graze the fingers on the heels to find alignment. The feet are hip distance apart. Inhale, lift the hips and lift the arms, reaching them back behind you. Exhale, lower hips and arms in unison. Inhale, lift hips, lift arms. Exhale, lower everything down, coordinating. Do that a couple more times on your own. The next time the hands come down, sweep them out into a T. Bump your left hip to the center of the mat. Draw your knees tight into the chest and then roll to your left side into your twist. Extend your right leg out to the side and hold onto the back side of the knee right in the crease. Let your gaze roll to the right. Just take a few full breaths here. Letting the weight of the body start to release, no longer having to hold yourself up. Stimulating your digestion, and so good for our spine to be able to move in all these ways. Breathe into the belly, massage the organs. Our ability to digest is so important for our health. Bend the top knee, bring yourself back to center, realign the hips. Bump the right hip to the center of the mat. Draw your knees tight to the chest and then roll to the right. Extend your left leg out to the side, hold behind the knee. And the gaze can come towards the left. fullness of breath without forcing it. Fullness of breath without force. Can you tune in to gratitude, this deep appreciation for these breaths, for this practice and your ability to move through everything that we did today. Your dedication to yourself, and I'm sure dedication also to many other things. Recognize that that's all appreciated, even if you don't always receive it from others. You can appreciate it yourself. Let's send some appreciation to one another. Even if we don't know what we all do through the day, I think we can all still appreciate one another and everything we contribute. Bend the knee, come back to center. Align your hips on the center of the mat. We'll come right into our Shavasana now. So stretch out those legs, let your arms go wherever you would like. You could rest them on the body or by your side, wherever feels intuitively right or comfortable. And let's take the last minute or two to let everything sink in. Just like that 5 elements flow that we went through, the final component of our practice is letting go. Shavasana is this metal element. Letting go of any effort and allowing the intelligence of the body and the mind and its energies to do what it needs to do to repattern, to heal. Allow your senses to be bright and aware, open and receptive. Allowing yourself to take in the magnificence of this morning. Not just our practice, but all of the energy around you in your space, the unique energies that is there with you right now. Expanding your senses to tap into that collective consciousness, that collective energy. Allowing ourselves feel and be with all of that. Again, it's not really anything that you have to do. It's allowing yourself to be here, to be free and open. An open channel. In this space, we don't need to fixate on anything or judge or analyze. We can simply observe, let our awareness recognize, then continue to let that energy flow, to move. You don't need to ask the questions of who, what, why, where, when. All of that fades away here. And begin to deepen your breath. Bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. And feel that deep breath traveling between the lower and upper hands, connecting. Feed you'd like, you could move your body in small or big ways through the toes, maybe taking a big morning stretch. Bending your knees. Roll over to your right side, the solar side, the yang side for this morning. Press into the hands and come up to a cross-legged seat. We'll close our practice here together. Finding a cross-legged seat, allow yourself to arrive and find the posture, the space through the spine. Notice how you feel as you come to your seat. Let the corners of the lips turn up into a small smile, or a big smile maybe too. Maybe this is a teeth smile today, even better. And we'll close our practice by tuning into the solar plexus today. So bringing your hands into gentle fists and resting them right at the solar plexus where the ribs meet the belly. And turning to this energy of determination and willpower and strength. You can let your elbows be out to the side, right? You're in this like strong posture here. Inhale. And then exhale to fold over the hands, fold into that solar plexus, seal it in. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me this morning. Namaste.